Now, I know we're talking about Canelo right now. It's rumored, strongly rumored, that he wants to dip his toe in the cruiserweight division. It's a big step
Yeah.
on the way. What are your thoughts overall on that?
I've always said this. Canelo, in my opinion, right now is the top dog in boxing. He's doing his thing. People, they give him a hard time. He beats Plant. Well, Plant, no good, but before he fought Plant, everybody wanted him to fight Plant. Billy Joe Saunders, this guy, that guy. He's doing his thing. If he goes back down and fights Charlo, they'll probably say he's a weight bully, from fighting that light heavyweight, super middleweight, going back down to fight Charlo. But I think it's going to come to a point, okay? I think it's going to come to a point when you keep jumping up. His prime is junior middleweight. When you start going up to the cruiserweight and fighting some of these guys, it is a little different. I don't care how good you are, And there's a big difference going from 115, 120 to 135 or 140. There's a big difference between that and going from 154 up to 190, okay? You're talking a big difference. And I think it's a little dangerous. Can he maybe get away with it? Yeah, I learned never to count him out. But, or like Benavidez and guys like that at 175. They were big, strong guys. I think he could do well against Benavidez at 175, but I think there's some fights, in my opinion, that I like to see. And I like to see him at 168, more realistic, and I like to see him fight a guy like Benavidez.
Yeah, that was my next question. Obviously the 168, 175 back to 160. He has a lot of options. It was also named, it was mentioned this week that possibly he could have one fight with PBC in May versus Charlo, or if not, a Bivol and a Triple G. Now we did like a survey on social media. Nobody wants to see. It's more a higher percentage of people want to see him face Charlo. Yeah. Why is it? Why is nobody interested to face Triple G or Bivol?
Well, I think Triple G fight. I think that the novelty wore off on that one. We've seen it. You know what I mean? Triple G's older now. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Charlo, I think everybody wants to see it because that's the hype that's going behind it right now. And again, Charlo, in my opinion, I like to see Charlo fight another guy that's like a Billy Joe Saunders or a Caleb Plant. Let me see them fight someone like that, and then you can build it up. Still, overall, as a fight fan, I would like to see Charlo, but what I think Canelo's coming from is fight somebody like I'm doing. It's one of them things. But I don't know why people are putting it behind it. I guess maybe because he didn't fight him, he didn't go back down after. It's hard to explain, but everybody has their fights they want to see. Again, my opinion, I would like to see Benavidez fight because he's campaigning at 168 right now, and they've both been at 168 now for some time, especially Benavidez. So that's the fight I kind of want to see.
You're mentioning over Benavidez being a possible threat. Could we say that he's a possible threat to Canelo?
I think at 168, absolutely. Absolutely, Benavidez is, and again, I can't take nothing away from Canelo. I think what Canelo is doing is amazing, but absolutely, I think Benavidez is a bigger threat than anybody at 175.
Let's talk about the heavyweight division right now. It's a lot of fights that are rumored. Dillian White, Tyson Fury is going to happen possibly in April. Obviously, we saw Fury, Deontay Wilder last year, Joshua Usyk. Tell me in that weight class, who's your favorite fighter to see? Who's the top one that can conquer the entire division? Obviously, Tyson Fury is leading everybody in that mix.
It's always hard to pick with heavyweights though, because I think as we've seen, anything can always happen in a heavyweight division. When you got any guy over 200 some pounds, a professionally trained fighter, a knockout could happen. So it's really hard to stay unbeaten in the heavyweight division, and it's hard to really predict because in one punch a whole fight could change. But I think Joshua's still got a lot in the tank. I think he has. I think Wilder, with his power, is still a fight for anybody, and on any given night, Wilder can beat anybody in that division. I think the interesting is the Usyk. I think Usyk and Fury fighting. I think Fury Joshua is interesting, and I think even potentially a Wilder Usyk. So why not break it up at that point? Put Usyk in against Fury or against Wilder, and vice versa with the other fights. And maybe have them stop, maybe put a Usyk in against Andy Ruiz. There's a good fight. So there's many fights to be made. I just think it's the fact of getting them done.
Is Usyk the underrated, or is like the one that we least expect right now that's going to outperform everybody that's under the radar?
So here's the thing about that, and this is where I get in an argument with people, because I do strength and conditioning training and everything else. Fighters, athletes have evolved, and it's science. It's proven. You know, I mean, it's stats. Offensive linemen have gotten bigger, faster. Not only a lot bigger and stronger, but a lot faster. And it goes with any sport. And you're starting to see with the heavyweights. I mean, I think our heavyweights now are averaging like 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". You're seeing it a lot more frequently. And you have a guy like, okay, so go back in the day like Chris Bird. You know, he was your non-power puncher, kind of your small guy, 6'1". But they had him listed at 6'1". He might even been shorter. Now your guy today that's considered small is a guy like Usyk. And he's 6'4", you know, and they have him at 6'4", and Usyk makes me look small, you know, and it makes me look really short. So he might even be a little bit taller than that, and that's considered a small heavyweight that can box and move. So it goes to show you, but I think Usyk is still big enough, and he has the size where he's not too small for anybody. I think if there's anything in the heavyweight division that hurts Usyk, is his power, but his conditioning and being able to go 12 rounds at a heavyweight like he does is going to be hard for any heavyweight to keep up with.
Last question. Wilder, you know, obviously he's coming out of those losses against Tyson Fury. What should he do next in his career? Redeem himself. Do you still think he has it in the tank?
Yeah, absolutely. The guy hits hard. I mean, people pick on his form and his technique. The guy hits, he can crack. Again, Wilder could be in a fight against anybody at any time. He can win a fight, you know, with that power. I don't think he's done. You know, the only way we're going to be able to tell, if I was him or his handlers, I would put him in against somebody that he could go in against and get a little bit of comp, but be expected to win. See where he's at there. See if he can sit with a good shot, how he reacts. He's in a situation now after those back-to-back fights where I think he deserves a let me see where I'm at fight. And his handler should do that. And then if he goes in there and does very well, then yeah, you know, it's time for him to be back in contention.
Kelly, thank you so much for your insights. Always good to hear your insight. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Fight Hub TV.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Hub TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Hub TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.